Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today we taste the Bookers, 7 years old, 63% ABV. And the Bookers is one of 4 small batch bourbon bottles of the Jim Beam company. There's the Bookers we have today, the Bakers I tasted yesterday, and there are 2 other bottles, the Knob Creek and the Basil Hayden. And those 2 are still on my list to taste, but I already tasted the Knob Creek Rye Whiskey. I put the video here. So these bottles are from the Jim Beam company with their distilleries, and they also fill the Jim Beam white label, and I tasted the black label and the Devil's Cut, and I put the videos for you here. These small batch bourbons are, well, much better selected than the standard bourbons of Jim Beam. So the standard bourbons like the white label or the black label, even the Devil's Cut, they sell in millions and millions of bottles, and there a lot of casks are mixed together and filled in huge batches. The small batches, they typically have several dozen casks, which they bottle together, so that with the small batch bourbons, the taste differs slightly between those batches. So if you look at this video and say, well, wonderful whiskey, you go into your favorite liquor store or your favorite distance dealer, and the whiskey tastes differently. Yes, that's the problem with small batches. Tastes have a variation. So today the Bookers is even more variation in the whiskey because it's a single cask bottling. It's filled, it's even uncut, so it has a very high ABV. It's uncut, and probably I'm not quite sure if it's filtered or unfiltered. I'm not quite sure. The name of the whiskey, the Bookers, was given by Frederick Bucano II. Yeah, I think he was named that way. Who established this whiskey in 1988 after he filled a few bottles of a extremely well done cask and gave them away to, well, business contacts. And from this thought, they started saying, well, can we have 1,000 bottles in a small batch? This was 30 years ago, no, 27 years ago. And from that time, batches grew a little, but they are still small batches. Even they are small, they are single cask in those small batches. Oh, quite difficult. I met Bucano in 2003 in Frankfurt, Germany. Had a few words with him, and unfortunately he died in 2004. And he was a great grandson of Jim Beam, who was a German family of Böhm. Well, this is the only whiskey from the small batch bourbon collection which comes with a wooden box, and it's glued to the back so that it's not moving in this wooden box. The bottle is a wine bottle, and this came from the time in 1988 when Bucano was asked to fill 1,000 bottles. Well, they had only those bottles left in stock, so they used them, and from this time on the bottle stayed the same, and even the label, which was handwritten in 1988 by Bucano, stayed the same as today. Booker's, the whiskey in this package is the highest grade bourbon made by me here in Jim Beam. It is uncut and bottled straight from the barrel. My grandfather, Jim Beam, liked his whiskey from 6 to 8 years old. And this one is now 7 years old. 7 years and 6 months. Batch number 2013/6, 62.95% ABV. So in the US, ABV is often given with 2 decimals. And in Europe, there is a law now saying just 1 decimal. Well, that's it. Again, this seal like with a baker's, which opens quite well if you find the beginning of the tape. So I have to be careful. It's 63% ABV. This is an awful lot. And this strong alcohol tears all the water out of your mouth because it wants to dilute with water. And it's also a poison for your nerves. And so if you try this neat, you will burn your taste buds, and you will taste less and less with every sip you take, and don't think to taste any other whiskey after this one without dilution in front. Good fruitiness. There's no thinner, not this solvent taste you typically or you often find in bourbon. No, it's a fruity note with a pipe tobacco, not burnt tobacco, fresh pipe tobacco in the back. A little spiciness coming up, but not very much. The fruit is definitely on the fruity side. And the typically vanilla note and caramel note, no, I don't find it. Here I have to add a little more water than with the baker's. But I think I haven't had more water than for 50%. Fruitiness is coming up. A little biscuit. The spiciness is fading away, more fruitiness. And it's kind of berries, cranberries. And this tobacco aroma is stronger now. Full impact, strong. Drying your tongue. Yeah. Oakiness, spiciness, sweetness, and tannins in the back, bitterness coming up. This is the second Bookers I have, or I had, and the first one was much more vanilla, much more caramel, and less tannins, less bitterness. So this one is definitely on the cask side, not so much on the fruitiness, on the yeast side and the cereal side of the bourbon. No, this is definitely on the cask side. This is quite an expensive bourbon, around 60 euros. Perhaps the same amount in dollars. They are cheaper in the US. And this is one of the best bourbons available on the market. Extremely selected by the cask, of the huge amount of casks Jim Beam has. And one time in your life you should have one of those. Either the Bakers or the Bookers, and then you know which extremely good Kentucky straight bourbons in small batches or even single casks are there on the market. Yeah, thank you for watching. Stay tuned, there's more to come, and feel free to add your comments about the taste in our whiskey database. Thank you very much.